Hello, and welcome to the Where to Start YouTube series. My name is Clyde Hampton, aka Champion Yogi, and this is the beautiful One Raw Yoga in Sanford, Florida. Again, I have classes here on Sundays. Feel free to come out, check me out, have a flow with me, join the ocean wave, and learn a little bit more about your practice. Today is step two of the Airwalker series, the Headstand Airwalker series, right? We're starting to move forward. If you were here last time, you saw that we worked on getting the head down. We worked on rolling to the top of the head. We worked on walking those toes closer to the face to be able to start finding that stack in the headstand. We also went over a couple of different warm ups and a couple of different safety procedures. So, again, if you found out that you weren't ready for this, if you did any research into your body and found out that you had any aches and pains, make sure you take the time to heal and get into a good space before you start coming to this. And let's make sure we set our intentions to move forward. My intentions for you today is to be able to find that headstand, to be able to get those feet off the mat so you can find that stack over your head. Remember, we're working through tripod headstand, but towards the end, I may give you some other options. But let's talk about that tripod right now. Let's go ahead and find some warm-ups again, as we usually do. So come on down to your mat, have a nice comfortable seat, crisscross easy pose. You can sit on your knees if you like. You can sit with your legs wide, whatever you want. Again, we're working with the wrist today. That's going to be a big part of it. We're working with the top of the head and the neck today as well, the shoulders today as well, the core muscles today as well. But we're going to get into the legs a little bit today as well. So let's start warming up the wrist. We're going to bring those palms together, roll the wrist around, have that good comfortable space. And remember, you're trying to create a lot of fluid in these wrists. You're trying to create some good warmth and some movement in these wrists. So take the time to shake them out if you like a little bit, flip them over a little bit, and roll them around. Good. And then again, rolling the head around in a circle, bringing the chin down into the chest, rolling the ear, the back of the head, the ear, and back into the chest. Same thing, opposite direction, big rolls around. Turning the head yes, turning the head no. Lengthening through the throat and giving all of those different motions. Remember, take a lot of time to warm your body up and make sure you're in a good space to be ready to go. Tabletop, once we come to that tabletop, you're going to want to start to roll around over the wrist. Maybe that'll help out the wrist a little bit more. Don't forget about those cat cows because they're important. And again, they're going to come into play again today. Chin coming into the chest, belly button up, gaze rising up, and the belly button sinking down through those cat cows. Again, you have them from the first lesson. Still bring them around into the second lesson. In this part of the lesson today, we're going to start bringing our knees on top of our triceps. And this is where you're going to start to find that balance of your tripod headstand. So with that being said, a yogi squat is a good space. If you have a block, maybe you want to use a block for your yogi squat. If you don't need a block for your yogi squat, that's okay. You don't have to. When you come to your yogi squat, you want to make sure your toes rotate outwards so they're a little bit wider than your heels are. This gives you a little bit of space to let the thighs open, the knees roll out, and give you space to sink down and find those hips open, okay? So you can bring your hands down to the mat. You can even rise up onto your toes as you start to sink the hips down. Again, tripod headstand, we're trying to bring the knees to the backs of the arms. So being able to sink down into this will allow those knees to come to that space and give you that openness to be able to pull those knees in nice and tight into your space. You can start to rock around a little bit from one side to the other to start to wake your body up a little bit. You can let the hips come up and just start to slowly sink down into it. And remember, if you have that block, you can come to a nice seated space on top of that block and just allow yourself to be here. And if you can't come to that seated space on the block, remember to lift the chest nice and high. So again, you can focus on pulling these knees into your body a little bit more, getting them over your elbows and right into that tricep area a little bit more, and giving yourself that flexibility to be able to find what we need for that tripod. Okay, let's get started. We're going to come back to that tabletop position again where we started at just the other day. Shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees, feet nice and wide. This is a good space to find our tripod headstand. We're still going to bring the forehead down to the mat and roll to the top of the head. Once you get comfortable coming straight to the top of your head, feel free to just do that and not come to your forehead first. But the forehead roll is a good visual to make sure you get the right part of your head down onto the mat. You can find that nice comfortable stack. You're still going to tuck those toes, lift the knees off the mat, and walk the feet towards the face. But today we're going to start to work with getting that elbow on the back of the arms, okay? So after you stretched out the wrist, maybe you rolled around over the wrist like this, maybe you've done your cat cows, you're going to start to work into the side body here. So let's look over the shoulder and find that stretch looking at the right foot, and then look over the opposite shoulder, finding that stretch looking at the left foot. These are going to help out your obliques to get them the side body nice and warm, which is going to be important moving forward into this tripod headstand. Okay, so for the tripod headstand, we're going to start by bringing the forehead down to the mat again. Nice and stacked over the shoulders. Forehead comes down right between the fingers. Roll to the top of the head. This is where we tuck the toes, lift the knees, and start to walk in towards the face. Remember that walk in. Be able to walk all the way in towards the face. Once you get closer towards the face, we're going to start with just the right knee, stacking it right on the back of the tricep. If you can get your knee just past your elbow, that's usually a good comfortable space. But you want to be able to try to get your knee as close to your armpits as you can. So take the time to work on that. That yogi squat is going to help you be able to find that flexibility that you need to get into that. And then we'll start to work on those cat-cow hips, okay? So lower your forehead down, roll to the top of your head, tuck the toes, lift the knees, start to walk it in. And then right when you get here, when you push those hips over the head, you feel comfortable, you're just going to take that right knee, stack it right on top of that right arm. Keep squeezing those elbows together and hold this comfortable space right here. And then just take the right foot back down, walk it all the way back, lower the knees back down, rise back up to that tabletop position and find the comfort again. Remember, coming out of that headstand, you need a few seconds to relax so you don't get dizzy and you don't throw yourself off and fall down and get hurt or anything like that. Trying that again, bringing the forehead back down to the mat, roll back to the top of the head, tuck the toes, walk the hips over the head. Keep pushing those hips all the way over the head. Bring the left knee to the left arm right here. Hold this nice solid pace, squeezing those elbows together. Hold nice and firm right here. And then when you're ready, bring that left foot back down. Start to walk back nice and gently. Bring the knees back down. Roll back to your forehead. And then bring yourself all the way back up to your comfortable space. Again, that's just that practice to start to get you into working into that headstand. If you're feeling good and you're feeling comfortable, you can go ahead and start to work towards your headstand, which we'll do right now. But if you're feeling like that was challenging and getting that knee to the elbow is a lot, you can stay right there and just work through that a few more times. Like learn to build that flexibility, open up through the forward fold, and be able to have that space to pull the knees into this so you can get comfortable. Now, to be able to find your stack, you have to press the belly nice and long. Again, as you bring your hips over your head, your body weight is still hanging down towards the feet. So as you stack one knee over the arm, maybe you can find that other knee over the arm, you're going to have to roll those hips back and they stack over the head. As long as they're hanging forward, it's going to be very hard to lift the legs all the way up, right? So pull those hips back and let the knees stack right in. And then here's your drill for right here. You're just going to maybe start to press that right leg all the way up towards the ceiling if you can. And then bring it all the way back down towards the elbow if you can. And then just lower both feet down. Maybe walk back just a little bit. Lower the knees back down. And come back to your tabletop comfortable space. And then same thing happens on the other side, right? Walk it all the way in. Get the knees up. Push that left leg all the way up towards the top and then bring it all the way back down. And the important thing about pushing your foot up towards the ceiling when you get to that tripod headstand is making sure that the foot goes up far enough, right? So once you find that tripod, a lot of times we'll push that foot up and it'll be kind of sticking out in front of us. Remember, if you got a good clear line of sight to that foot, it's probably not over you, it's probably in front of you, right? So you want to lift that foot nice and high and pull it back behind you so it kind of goes out of your sight and then it's nice and stacked over your shoulders. That's the space that you want to be in. Again, that may take a little bit of practice. You may not have that in your practice just yet, so take the time. Do it up against the wall. Put your head close to the wall. Lift the foot nice and high. Pull it back until it touches that wall. You don't want to become too dependent upon your wall because your wall won't teach you balance. It'll just teach you to always go back as far as the wall is. So you want to be able to start to come away from that wall when you find that comfort. But if you're trying to lengthen your body out, you're trying to be able to find that stack, you're trying to be able to have the flexibility to open your body to that space, using the wall is totally fine for as long as you need to. But when it's time to find the balance, we have to get away from the wall, okay? So again, coming here, finding the head down, having that good L shape into the arm, squeezing the elbows in, forehead down to the mat, rolling to the top of the head, walking those toes in, and most importantly, roll those hips back so they stack over your head, and then just take the right foot all the way up. And if this becomes a little comfortable to you and you just want to start building that strength, feel free to switch the side and go from one to the other and stay right here in this comfortable space for your step 2 of your air walker headstand. If you can get to about 10 of those on the left and on the right, you're probably more than ready to move on to step 3 of the Airwalker headstand. But if you can't get to the 10th one, then feel free to take this time, stay right here, be in this space, and start to work on the strength, the balance, and all the things that's happening here. The more and more you work on it, the more and more comfortable you'll come with the space, and the more you'll get closer to being able to control and have all that awareness in your body. Remember, stack the spine. Pull that foot back over the head so you can find a nice comfortable stack. Keep those elbows squeezed in and use those strong core muscles. Lift, work, find that comfortable space, and you'll be airwalking in no time. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming to day 2 of the Airwalker headstand. Again, if this was a lot for you, if you didn't feel like you got the questions answered that you needed to have answered, feel free to hit me up on any of my social media platforms at c.hamp.ionyoga. That's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, all the things, right? I'm out there, find me. Or click the link tree in my bio. You can sign up for some personal sessions, or just come and chat with me and we'll talk about it, and maybe we'll set up some personal sessions that way. But we'll get you where you need to be, and we'll get you the understanding that you need to have an understanding for your body so that you can be able to do this, have fun with this, and grow your awareness into your body. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you for day 3.